So let's watch this trail with Lucifer. So we're working in rural setting here. So he's quite a strong vocal dog, this young man. We haven't even started off yet, and he's still trying to find some scent going around. So we're just trying to get him back in towards us to start working, which he eventually settles into doing. So he's just looking around the environment. To be fair, he may have needed a bit more of his launch sequence just to get him accustomed to what was around rather than trying to start off a bit too early. So it was probably a handler error there in starting too early and not allowing him just to have that a bit more time just looking around. And go into the toilet because he's having a nice long wee at this point. So he immediately gets a bit of odour here, which he's then pulling into. The issue this dog has is he tends to steam train a bit. He'll get an odour and then he'll just steam train into it rather than thinking about what he needs to do. So he needs a lot of line handling to be able to slow him down so that he does actually start working rather than just steam rocketing into getting a bit of odour and then just going straight ahead in one direction. So we're starting to really try and slow him down on these trails, which isn't the most ideal thing that I like to do with the line, because I like them to have that much freedom to go, but his giving him that freedom was slightly counterproductive for him, as he would just miss any turns because he would steam rocket into one direction. So we had to change things up for him and actually have a bit more control on that line to actually be keeping him in. Because here he's picked up that scent, steam rocketed, and then he's just gone in and lost that scent again. So we're allowing him to have that line, and then when we know that he's gone out of where the trail goes, we're just stopping that line a bit, just so that he understands that he's come out of odour himself. So we're stopping him, steam rocketing forward and forward and forward, and then he is then working himself back into that trail. So here you can see he's really slowed down after that steam rocketing out and then just getting completely lost and not knowing where that trail has gone. Allowing him that time to come back in to find that trail himself has caused him to slow down and to start to think about what he's doing rather than just rocketing out ahead and rocketing forward. So you can tell he's hit some odour here. He's trying to work something out by going backwards along that odour line, having a look around and just trying to work out the scent pattern that he's finding himself in. And he's going from grassy areas to hard or to rubble areas. So the scent pattern and the scent cloud is changing a lot for him as we're going. It was quite a warm day here, so the odour is going to burn off quite quickly from when it was laid. This wasn't an aged trail, but it is going to burn off because it was quite a warm day. So he's just struggling as we've gone into this open area to actually work out where that's gone. And we've got the gate that we're going to be going through, which is shut for him. So he's also got to trust himself in the fact that the odour's going through a barrier. So we've got quite a few things that the dog is working on in this particular trail. Ideally, I like to just be working on one component for the dogs, but he needed so many other things that we were working on, which were small things, which we can only really work on inside that trail, that he ended up having quite a few components that he had to work through. So we allowed him that time just to work through. The trail is actually quite a short trail, but because of the components that we wanted him to work through, it took him quite a while to actually get around this trail. And here again, He's struggling with two things here, and looking at your environment can see what your dog is actually struggling with. So he's struggling with where that scent has dropped to, because we've got suddenly a big flat concrete area that he's trying to work that scent out on. He's struggling with the temperature that he's working in, and he's also struggling with the fact that we have a barrier that he has to ask to go through. So this was one of the things that we were looking at. Of which he's then suddenly realised that there is a small gap that he can actually go through. It's not an obvious gap, but it is there for him. And he's then taken that and gone through. We then stopped for a drink. It shows how warm the day was that he's stopping for a drink. Any warmer and we wouldn't be training in these kind of weathers, but it was in the morning, so we weren't in the direct sun, but he's just having himself another drink. Allowing them to have that drink on the way is just going to refresh their palate, to be allowing them to scent a bit easier. If it's too dry, he's not going to be able to work that scent through his through his system, so just allowing him to have that drink. Now here we've changed our scent pattern once again. We've gone from hard surface onto soft surface, so it's going to hold a lot more scent, and also the wind direction is going to change that scent distribution as well. So he's now got to work through a different kind of scent pattern. Afraid my camera's kind of missed him on this bit here, but you can just see how far away from me he is working. He's allowed to have that whole line, and being able to give our dogs a whole line allows them to work things out for themselves. My camera's focusing on my hand instead of on the dog here, unfortunately. So here we've got another little entry point into an area. So we've got another small barrier that we want him to work through and work out where that scent's gone. So you can see that he's starting to go a little bit out of odour, the way his body language is changing slightly. And we're just wanting him to work out where that scent has gone to go into the, it goes through the fence here. So he's coming out of odour, out of the trail, and he's probably into a scent drift at this point, that he's just trying to work out where that scent has gone, where that odour has gone, for him to be able to work out where he needs to go. And it becomes very difficult when we have barriers, when we have open areas, and we're changing that scent pattern a lot for him. We're not just working in the same area. So as he's getting used to the way the scent is moving in one area, he's then transversing onto another area and having to change and learn how that scent is moving at that point. So he's got his eye on something in the field there. He's slightly taking himself distracted off of where I want him working. So I'm just not allowing him near the thing that's taking his mind off of it, and we get straight back into that trail then as he picks up that scent going through this barrier, which he's taken really nicely. So they're not solid barriers, they're just a visual barrier that is not an obvious reason that he could get through straight away. Now, our missing person is actually behind a shut door in the caravan, so our final component we're looking at is a solid door. So we're looking at a door entry, and we're looking at him to give us some kind of indication that that the person is behind, or the scent has gone into that caravan. There is where we're going into. So we've got lots of long grass here, which is going to hold that scent, and it's going to hold that trail going towards that caravan. So we shouldn't get too much of a drift coming away from there. We should actually have quite a lot of scent holding and going into that caravan. So he should be able to give us something nice. There was a nice indication there, but then he's come away. So I just want him to be more committed to where that scent has gone. I think he's trying to come back along the trail to see whether he's made any mistakes. But I just want a bit more commitment in the fact that there is the odour goes into that caravan. And he's not quite giving me the commitment that I want out of this. So I'm just going to wait him out for a little bit more commitment, a little bit more indication, to say, yes, this is definitely where the odour's gone, definitely where the scent has gone, to give me that confirmation that that is where we want to go. So I'm just going to wait him out. I don't want to wait him out too long. It's that fine line between waiting him out and taking what we've got and then building on it the next time. So he's given me quite a lot here. So shortly, I'm going to go and open that door. Not entirely sure when I'm going to open that door, but we just want to have that little bit more from him. And they've got a nice bark indication that we have there. And then our Misper comes out and rewards our dog. He obviously has to go in and check what's going on in there. And it's always good to get the dogs going into these areas, which could be a little bit scary. He doesn't really have a great deal of fear, this dog. So just getting that, and it's that decision of when we're going to reward on something new and when we are going to ask for something a little bit more without frustrating the dogs too much.